Thats here, and today I'm bringing you guys the start of a pretty different video. This video is hopefully going to be the start of my full travel vlog going all the way to New Orleans to compete in the North American International Championships. As of recording, the date is Tuesday, June 7th at 7:11 p.m. I'm actually flying out to NAIC tomorrow morning. I'm getting all my stuff packed right now. I got my Mewtwo rocking the Tims right here because we're using the heavy-duty boots, and hopefully I have a good time on this trip. I want to say, before we really get into the video, that I've actually hit like a really creative wall, having to come up with new fun and different creative teams on a daily basis. It's like completely sapped all of my creativity. I feel extremely burnt out, and I just wanted to be transparent with you guys going forward. Hopefully this reinvigorates my passion for the Pokemon franchise, getting to do all the fun stuff at NAIC, getting to be a part of the TCG community, the Go community, the Unite community, and just hopefully like recharging my Pokemon battery for the new Legends game. And yeah, like I said, it's before I'm leaving on my trip, but I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a preface for things that I'm looking to get out of this trip, and hopefully all those things happen. I'm going into it with a positive attitude, and yeah, I fly out bright and early, about 5 a.m. tomorrow, doing a detour in Salt Lake, then actually going to St. Louis, and then road tripping down to New Orleans with a bunch of my friends to just make the trip a little bit more memorable. So hopefully everything goes well. Hopefully I do a good job documenting it, right? So if you guys want to see the video, you know, that's what you're watching right now. Sit back, max, relax, act all cool, and hopefully enjoy the trip. I know I will, and yeah, let's go make some good memories. Here we go. So I tied for this ranking right here, 163. My resistance wasn't as good as some of these other players who probably won their first 6, or sorry, won their first 5 and then lost 3. But we still have the same record. You can't say that we don't. So we got like Elegi right here. Sableye VGC, I think regional champion. Very, very good player. Everyone knows who Sableye is. Scrolling down, Zhang right there. Like Z, the person who got second at Portland Regionals, Wisconsin Regional Champion. I've played them a bunch of times. They're the person who really popularized that whole Weezing Koraidon core. All right, so just scrolling down, Justin Burns, one of like the best North American players. Everyone knows who this is. Really, really good. Like one of my favorite players to watch play. I have the same record as them using Mewtwo. Like I keep on talking about this. Like y'all got to pick and make the best possible teams. And I had to build with the freaking Mewtwo and a Terapagos. And I got the same result. And I keep doubling down on that because that is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That like I got the same record as players that are like this good. You got to know who Justin Burns is. But Justin Burns is really good. Keep on scrolling. Mancuso, a little bit older player now, but a lot of people still know who Mancuso is. Noah, a lot of people know Noah. Navit always beats me at regionals. This is one of Joe UX9's like team builder friends. Really, really good player from Canada. I think they actually got top cut worlds this year. Maybe bubbled worlds top cuts, like top 16, but very, very good player. Joseph Kwan, Vishy, really good. Diego, a lot of people know who Diego is, like really, really solid Canadian player. Like you're starting to see like, whoa, there's some pretty big names. Sam Temple, good to see them doing well. We're still going. Some of these people, a lot of people know. Aaron Cybertron, Zhang, Luca Paz, like these guys are pretty good. So it's like, that's crazy, bro. Like, dang, we're doing the same thing. I low-key think you would have made day 2 with the Kyurem team. I probably would have. I had like 2 teams that I probably could have used to make day 2. I just felt really comfortable playing. I feel really comfortable in this meta. Really, really solid. Like Aaron Zhang right there, 5-3. No, wait, he used a Cresselia! Have I been dethroned? Dude, I should have used Cresselia. I used a Cresselia at this tournament. That's actually really cool. Zhang used Cresselia. That's so nice. Good for him. That's rad. I've been dethroned as King Cresselia. Actually, I used it at Worlds, man. Catch me back at Worlds with that one. Still going down, Diego from Australia, one of the best Australian players. He used Torkoal, too, with King Gambit. Very, very cool team. Still strolling down, Aaron Brock, really, really good player. This is the guy that I think, they've used a lot of really good stuff. A lot of people know who Aaron Brock is. Still scrolling down, Will Tank right here, very, very solid. One of the OG Zama players. Scrolling down, we got Michael Zhang, Wolf Glick. That's right. That's right. Your boy got the same record as Wolf Glick. World champ difference. The world champ Mewtwo, bro. Mewtwo, the same record as Mewtwo. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I see all these people. I can't take Mewtwo to Worlds, guys. I see all these people like at 5-3, and they're all. You know that meme where like the top 2 people are on like the placing for the podium, and then there's like the 3rd place guy that like is going like this, like he's the freaking best, but he's like in like last place or 3rd or like whatever. That's me with this Mewtwo, bro. Like I don't even care. I used the worst possible like combination of tech ever, and I got the same record as these sweaty tryhards. Like that's Yotam, another like really, really solid player. We're still scrolling down. We got Joe UX9 right here. It's really cool to see Groudon do well. My last opponent had Groudon too, but like that's the thing. Like all these players, I did the same as they did. Like, we got the same record. Same wins. 5 wins, 3 losses. Mewtwo. Ridiculous, bro. I couldn't have hoped for, like, a better tournament, right? Nick Donnelly, 2nd place Charlotte Regionals last year. Really, really good player. And all these people have, like, a Brady Smith right there. Another, like, one of the best players, like, in the game. Like, combination of, like, some of all of, like, the best American players. We all got the same points. Like, it's crazy. We could scroll down this list forever and scroll down and see all the people actually got a higher record than they're still good too. But I just wanted to let you guys know that like that's how like stacked an international is. And the fact that I can't even really drill it in enough. It's not even that I used bad mons like the Mewtwo. It's that I didn't get items, bro. I had to use a heavy duty boots and a shell bell. And everyone's like, you keep saying you had to. You didn't have to. It's like, no, but I said I would, so I did. And I think that's another thing. I made all these teams public. I made all this tech public. I showed all the EVs. I did everything. Every single person that I fought in the tournament knew who I was, what I was using, how to beat it, and I still went 5-3. No one else did that. Maybe more people should. You know, I want to see how all those people I just listed. I want to see how their results look, having to use this, publish it like well in advance. This is my team. Heavy duty with Mewtwo, Steel Terra to block things like Clear Smog. Very, very standard. We outspeed Modest Miraidon and Adamant Koraidon. So really solid. Lacking Tail Mewtwo. Now y'all hate me. Let me do my thing. We got our Indity here, very, very standard, heavy defense investment to deal with Urshifu, waters and stuff like that. Did the boots ever get value? Yes, in one game they got value. Minimize, Baton Pass Blim, Dark Terror, really like this set. You don't really need to invest anything in HP since it's such a bloated stat. Heavy defense Spadef with the Psychic Seeds, Baton Pass on Burden, really cool stuff. Tatsugiri, this lets you live like aggressive Ursh Wicked Blow if you ever have to protect. Like if they're like Black Glasses, Adamant, Double Dip, Wicked Blow, you'll still live this, so that's actually kind of nice. And then the Dozo. A lot of people look at the Dozo and they think like, this guy sucks, he doesn't even have a water attack. No one really understood what the Dozo was supposed to do. And I kind of explained it the best that I could whenever I made videos on it that people just didn't watch. They just wanted me to spoon feed it for them. But like, you don't kill things with the Dozo. Like, yeah, the Dozo comes out, but like, you know, let's think about what's popular in the meta. Things like Miraidon, things like Shadow Rider, things like Urshifu. You only get 8 power points on all of those moves, like the Electro Drift and the Astral Barrage, Behemoth Bash, Surging Strikes, Close Combat. You only get 8 power points. So what Dozo does is it comes in and it uses Protect on an Electro Drift, and it wastes 1 power point. And then the next turn, they can hit us with the Electro Drift if we Baton Pass Minimize or not, doesn't matter. But we click Sub. Sub would already be up. We would realistically have already Baton Passed a sub from the Drift Blim. So they break the existing sub and we resub. And then they Electro Drift and we Protect. And then they break our existing sub and we resub. And then once the Electro Drifts are gone, they no longer have a way to break the Dozo. Yeah, and then you just grind them out with like random order ups and just close everything with Earthquake, right? It's super easy. This team is not about like Baton Passing Minimize the Dozo and just sweeping them in 2 turns. Like it's a stall team. The games go to time, like, a lot. Like, every time. And that's just how it works. You PP stall all of their really good moves, like Astral Barrage, Glacial Lance, Electro Drift, all those things like that. And so, being able to, like, have all this known, like, a month beforehand that I was doing this for, like, every one of my opponents was ridiculous. Tropicos is just another aggressive option that we can go to if we need to play around, like, Poison Stall, which is where Dozo would, you know, struggle a little bit. And so I like this option of being able to like enable the Mewtwo. And we got a couple games where like the Mewtwo came in, went for the Psych Up on like a fully set up Baton Passed Minimize, like full speed Terapagos and got some sweeps on. So we got some good games going with it. I like the team a lot. I feel very comfortable with it. I think my EV spreads were great. And, you know, that's how the team worked. It's a stall team. Right, so let's just talk about our first round. So we're sitting down, you know, you sit down and you have to wait for like an hour for them to do like that opening ceremony and, you know, just go over like everything about the event. I was sitting right next to Seabad, that was pretty cool. And my opponent is someone that like knew what the team was and a player that I think made day 2 in like Milwaukee. You say they actually ended up making day 2. They went 9-3 in the event, so they made day 2. My first round opponent was a good player, and this was their team. So they had like Koraidon Shadow Rider. And honestly, like on paper, I have a very good matchup into Shadow Rider Koraidon. Especially like in Sin, like Goggles and Sin, like yeah, you got Taunt, but you don't have Wisp, right? So it's like, I feel good here. Like yeah, you have a couple Taunt users, Raging Bolt's kind of dicey, but if I just flip on the Grass Terror with Dozo, like I win this matchup. Let me read this comment here. I'm hosting for a fun VGC Little Cup tour on the 28th. Is that something I should share in the Discord? You can put it wherever you want in the Discord. Feel free. Little Cup VGC is a lot of fun. I won't be able to play. I'm a little bit busy around that time. But yeah, feel free to share it. You can post it in a VGC chat. There's a tournament tab somewhere in there. But yeah, this guy made day 2, had a really good team. And like I said, this is a good matchup for me. I can wall the Koraidon. I can wall the Shadow Rider very easily. Like, even if they have like Disable and stuff like that, it shouldn't really matter. Problem with this guy's team for me though, which is why I took a loss in round 1, is like, bro has the Clear Smog Amoonguss, bro. My first round had Clear Smog Amoonguss. I think that might be the only Clear Smog Amoonguss in this tournament. Sombra, how goes it? Nice seeing you at NAIC. I think there's probably less than like 3 of these at the whole tournament. And we have options into Clear Smog Amoonguss. Like, we do have lines that go into that. That's where, like, the Steel Terra Mewtwo makes sense. It was nice to see you. Great. Yeah, I had a good time. I had a good time. Hopefully you did as well. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And so, like, I went down my lines, and we played a couple really close games. But, like, at the end of the day, that is dicey, right? You know, it's just hard to get set up. Because you basically have to baton pass you only get 1 minimized pass in that situation to Mewtwo. And then Mewtwo has to flip on the Steel Terra, and then it's hard when they have Clear Smog Amoonguss. It's raw. Oh, and I want to say this. It wasn't just Clear Smog Amoonguss. It was Clear Smog Dark Terra Amoonguss. So I can't go into my lines where Mewtwo gets in and, like, expanding forces the Amoonguss because he just flips on a Dark Terra. Even if they had, like, a Water Terra, like, I could try and catch the Amoonguss on a pivot with, like, an expanding force and take it out and double tap it. Or, like, lean into a matchup where, like, I go with, like, a little bit of damage with Mewtwo and Terapagos and try and just double into the Amoonguss. You can't, right? Oh my gosh. It was like the worst matchup ever. And everyone's like, that's you put the team that loses to Clear Smog Amoonguss. It's like, but there's like only 2 in the tournament, if any, right? It was a risk worth taking, I think. And again, they made day 2, so it's not like I lost to some scrub, right? It's not like I lost to some scrub. They're a good player. They've made day 2 at other events before. Solid stuff. Have to hold my L. Going up into my second round, this person did not do as hot, but they're playing like standard Protect the King Terapagos. This is a really good matchup for me. Like, really good. They have like the, you know, set up Nasty Plot Shadow Rider. They have a Calm Mind sub Terapagos. So the way this works is they only have 8 power points on this move. And they only have 8 power points on this move. So if I come in with Dozo and go sub protect, sub protect, sub protect, they are out of ways to actually deal damage because this will never do anything. Remember, Dozo is unaware, so it's not like you can go to +6. I don't care. You're not going to hit me. This mon's a little bit dicey. I wanted to talk a little bit about this, how like Iron Valiant or Fairy types with Wide Guard are actually kind of hard to deal with. People don't really know, but they actually can timer stall me back because I can't Earthquake if you have Wide Guard. Right? You know, I get 16, you get 16. If you time those correctly, I don't get a chance there. And if you have something that, like, I can't order up. So, like, if you were to come in with a Shadow Rider and flip on Fairy Terra here, and then come in with Valiant, and, like, get your Wide Guards into my EQs right, I can't ever actually order up, which means I have to EQ, which means you can technically click, like, Wide Guard every single turn and then grind with the Dozo. So it's hard. We're using Expanding Force in this one just to make people over-respect it a little bit more. Side Strike's, I think, better. But you don't really get any KOs off Side Strike you need, and then people are a little bit more afraid. They lead with those Snarlmons, they lead with the screens, they see the Expanding Force, it forces the Incins. If people don't know the matchup, Expanding Force is a little bit better. So yeah, it's a dicey matchup into the Valiant, but Terapagos and Shadow Rider easy, Urshi Water's easy. This person does not have the Clear Smog. They had when I saw the Amoonguss with like 4 moves too, I was like, oh, not this again, bro. But it was Pollen Puff and Foul Play, and the last one's Ditto. And I think one cool thing about Ditto here is people like to look at my team and they think like, oh, like you just do all that setup on Dozo and you baton pass 6 minimizes. And you know, baton pass max evasion and all these stat boosts, and then come with Dozo and copy it, and it's like, well, I have sub, first of all, so you got to do that correct. So I have sub on a lot of these mons, so good luck with that. But at the same time, you can't, like, you only have 5 moves. I'll just protect sub out until you start struggling if your Choice Scarf Ditto, which this was. Another thing here as well is if you ever copy the Mewtwo, when we go into this version with Mewtwo, we just Aura Sphere you out. Because you can Aura Sphere me, but I have, like, the health to back it up, and you don't. So it's like I would always win those Aura Sphere trades. So I actually was very deliberate about, like, how I want my Ditto matchups to look. And so we won this one pretty quick. The second game went a little bit longer, but they just don't have an out. They don't have an out. We lead Indity, we lead Driftblim, we go follow me until Indity's gone, get up a sub, get up 2 or 3 minimizes, baton pass out to Dozo, and Dozo just says, you're done. You're done. Like, good news about this is, like, I was also available to go, like, Grass Tear if I wanted to block any spores, but I didn't need to. I felt bad. This was my first time playing the tournament, playing the team in person, and I felt bad playing against this person because, like, I can tell they were there to have fun, and I made them, like, realize midway through game 1 that, like, you don't have a matchup here. And I think they crit my sub a couple times. Like, they played to their outs, but, like, there is no matchup at all. Like, there's just nothing to really do. There's not enough ways to really break or put pressure on the Drift Blim, and I just get my setup. I get the lock in. We take those wins all the way to the bank. They ended up winning at least one game in the tournament, but yeah, they didn't get to play. So we take those all the way to the bank. So now we're 1-1, and we're going up against Zero Blaze. I don't know if you know who this is. Really, really solid player. This is one of my worst matchups. Like double AOE with like super effective on the Drift Blim. Like one of my worst matchups. So it's funny, you know, we've been here for like 3 hours already. Second round for me went to time, and you know, I would have been Zero Blaze, someone I've seen from events. They lead Kali Ogre, right? This is just Kali Ogre, another Amoongus, but there is no Queer Smog, and so I lead into the Drift Blim, and I go like protect/follow me minimize, and they hit me and I die, and I go protect/follow me minimize in game 2, and they hit me and I die. And, you know, GG, shake my hand. What was really cool about that is I was able to go get some lunch. I was able to go upstairs and check out some of the vendors. Like, good player, knew the lines, hit through the first minimize. What do you do, right? We both said, like, if I didn't get double tapped on the first turn, we go into a game plan where, like, it looks like I actually probably have good lines. This doesn't come to the matchup. You bring these guys in the back, and they just don't really help enough, in my opinion. So you have to hit that spout or the lance. And if you hit them, like I hit with both, right? That's the thing. Is like I got hit with my Drift Blim got hit with both. Like I lost both games on turn 1, and that's just how it goes. You know, sometimes that's the lines. Like if they know the AOE lines, like I could think about leading like weird Terrapago stuff and other things like that. It's not really worth it. Like you just got to get the first dodge on the minimize, and if you get that, you can play the game. But if you don't get it, rip. You know, it happens. And they went 5-3 as well. They were doing pretty good in the tournament, and that's why I think like my team's not even like amazing. It's not up to me if it does well. You know, you just let Mewtwo take the wheel and like see what happens. You know. But great player, good to see them, you know, at the event and stuff like that. And I was happy to get like a full lunch break. Like I got like an hour and a half to just go do whatever I wanted. And then when I came back for round 4, I was like pretty locked in, right? I was like, okay, I'm feeling like this is what we're gonna do now. So my round 4 opponent, Life Orb Koraidon. Breaking Swipe's a little bit obnoxious if you can stack that on my Drift Blim or other stuff like that. So I have to baton pass a bunch of low stat boosts. Power Herb. Like, Power Herb Lunala is, like, one of my best matchups, because, like, I'm unaware of all your boosts, so this doesn't do anything, right? Rock Helmet and Sin with no Taunt or Wisp, easy matchup. Rilla doesn't help, give me some of that sustain, and then Scarf Chi-Yu, that's fine, I don't particularly care. Wims with Encore, but, like, I don't care, right? So this was a free matchup. It went to time, but, like, there's no line there. You have no way. This person even, like, I even got the good subs, like, so there's a point in every single match where they realize that I'm PP stalling, because they actually don't know that that's what's happening until it's too late. They start to get it around like 60-70% of the way through game 1, and they realize I have a sub up and I'm still clicking sub, because I'm clicking sub when they're like doubling into the Dozo Salt. Like this guy, for example, had Lunala and Chi-Yu, and he was Dark Pulsing my Dozo sub, and he was Moongeist Beasting my Dozo, or Moongeist Blasting my Dozo sub, trying to break it. And I was just using protect sub. I was just trying to wait out the Moongeist beams. You only get 8, right? And then once they realized that I was like PP stalling, which is not the same as timer stalling. I didn't timer stall anybody. That's another thing. I didn't timer stall a single person in this tournament. I didn't need to, ever. But I just was trying to wait out the Moongeist beams. And then once they realize that that's what we're playing for, then you can start weaving in like other stuff and get like cheeky turns. But like, yeah, they got a bunch of crits on my subs and kept breaking them, and I just kept resubbing, and we just take the L we take the win pretty easily. It was, all in all, I think a pretty nice matchup. Like, this is the type of stuff I really thought that I'd see a lot of at the tournament, like aggressive, like, you know, good defensive abilities like Intimidate, Grassy Terrain, Shadow Shield. And so, like, when people want to use mons that are like these chonky, like, pivot sticks, my team just eats that up, because, like, you don't have the aggressive tendencies to just blow me away. Versus if you take a look at a team like this versus a team like Zero Blaze's team with, like, Spout Lance turn 1, you can see how this team has no line into like actually getting in and bullying out the Drift Blim Dozo. So pretty cool stuff. We take those wins all the way to the bank. And then in our round 5, we're now 2-2. And we're going up against Miraidon Kali-I, very, very standard. This person's name was Santiago Molina, another player that made day 2. And I lost game 1 in like a really close game. Like, this was the game 1 I lost was the only game of the day, I will say, that I got my lock in, where I baton pass like 2 minimizes to my dozo. I get locked in, and they still get me. Is the only one that happened to. They hit through like all the minimizes and everything, and they got the crit electro drift. It was ridiculous. I got never luckied. They crit to break my sub, and then they hit me with an electro drift and crit. And I was like, what do you want me to do with that? You know, what do you want with that? Like, I'm not. And then again, this is a good player. Made day 2. I think they've top cut a few EU events as well. But they crit to break my sub, and they crit my dozo, and I was like, I can't actually fight that. We go into game 2, and I'm doing the exact same lines, and they were doing the exact same lines, and they have their mons out, and I can tell so what they had is they led Miraidon Treads game 2, and they volt switched the entity, and they like blew up the entity with a steel roller, right? And they went into one of the mons. I don't remember which one it is, but it's not important. I think it was Kali-I. Entity's gone. And so I bring out the Tatsu, right? I bring out Tatsu. And I get my minimize off. And then what they do is the Treads no longer has its banded steel roller, right? So he has to pivot out for he has to either pivot out the Kali, which isn't happening, or pivot out the Treads for Miraidon, right? And so I read them pivoting out Treads from Miraidon. Now, my board is Tatsu and 1 minimized Driftblim. So I go for my second minimize. They pivot out the Iron Treads for the Miraidon, and I whiff a freaking Draco right into that Miraidon. I whiff the Draco into the... Like, I miss my Draco into a Miraidon pivot in. And then, turn 3, so the Miraidon lives, right? Turn 3, I just baton pass my 2 evasions to my dozo, because like we're gonna play the game, we're gonna play the lines. Like, I can't just leave my Tatsu out here. And he hits me with a crit electro drift. And I'm like, GG's, you know, like, what do you want me to do? I played the matchup the best I could. Would winning have qualified you for day 2? Well, we're still in round 5. I just would have been 3-2. Like, we were still in the middle of the tournament, you know? So, you know, there was still a whole 2 more rounds to play after that, or 3 more rounds. So, I don't know if winning would have got me day 2, but this is the game that knocked me out. And so, like, I just got crit on my dozo twice through minimizes boosts, and, like, that's the game. They obviously needed it. And I think they actually said they needed points for their Worlds invite, so I'm actually really cool to see them do well. And they played it well. I think that I'm happy I took the chance to, like, go for that Draco. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm a Draco this slot. And the look on their face when, like, when the Tatsu ripped the Draco, they were like, oh, you know. It was ridiculous. So it was cool. And then so I have 3 more rounds left in the tournament. And I go up against a guy who's using... I think this team was, like, the Scraggy team. You guys have seen this do well. Scraggy's like a thing. It's another Miraidon Kali-I, and with Treads, right? And so I'm like, all right, I'm getting my run back. And so, like, I really thought that I won last round. Like, I felt I played everything right. I know I have lines into this team. I just got to lock in. And I play this guy, and we actually go 3 games. Game 2, they made a really good adjustment, and I think they won on time in game 2. And it was a good play. But in game 3, I remember this. In game 3, let me get my notepad. Game 3 was ridiculous. All right, so game 1, I won by doing the standard thing. And then in game 2, they realized, like, they should just be, like, cycling intimidates, and, you know, stuff like that. The roar for a graph makes it really hard, because you can side roar your teammates to repin with, like, a Miraidon, or you can roar out pieces of my Driftblim core before I can baton pass the Dozo. So basically what they realized in game 2, they can make it so I only actually can baton pass 1 minimize, which is hard, you know, because if you KO the Indity with like a Miraidon or like, you know, an Iron Treads or something like that, and then you just roar the Drifblim, like, it's dicey, right? Before I can baton pass the Dozo, who locks in. Anyways, in game 3, right? In game 3, I'm trying to find it. Yeah, here we go. So in game 3, they lead Miraidon and Treads, right? Yo, thank you so much. What's up? Not much. We're just talking about, you know, the tournament right here. Scraggy's played just because it's Eviolite, and so it's bulky, but then like you also get like a low HP Endeavor. So it's actually good. So if you get up Trick Room, this thing just comes in and puts things within range for the Kali-ai to come in and sweep with Lance. It's pretty standard. People have been using it for a while. Very, very standard mon. At this point in the meta, there's usually a 2 or 3 in every tournament. But long story short, in game 3, instead of leading Indity and, you know, minimize Drifblim and doing all that stuff, in game 3, I lead Indity, Mewtwo, and I just start blasting, bro. I'm like, Expanding Forces Miraidon, Expanding Forces Iron Treads, you're going to have to pivot, because I go Redirection Expanding Force, and then we let them take out the Indity, and then I bring out the Pagos, and I start setting up that way, and when I won that one, I was like feeling it, because like, I didn't use the Dozo. I was like, no, you about to respect Mewtwo here, because like they went super defensive. They went like Miraidon Treads, which I was really not expecting to see Treads off the rip. And then their last 2 mons were Scraggy and Hands, and I'm like, I know you have to go Scraggy. I was expecting Fergaraf, not Hands, and so it made it harder when like I'm using Pagos Mewtwo, but at the same time like Indity Mewtwo, like I took him back to school for back to basics out here, and I was like, we slap in here, like we go into town. And we just got it. Like, I pulled it out. It came down to Mewtwo at the very end, finishing off the Iron Hands with an Expanding Force, and it was just like, chef's kiss. Like, you make the game 1 go really long, and then in game 2, really long. They find the lines, and then in game 3, they're like, we're playing a 4-turn game, boys. Mewtwo, let's go. It was so good. I was so happy to get that Mewtwo win. Like, up until this point, I had mostly played the tournament without even using a restricted, and so it was really good to use Mewtwo against this one, and I was happy that I won this one. Like, but like, I don't really like playing on the mainstream anyways, so it's fine. Like, you're not ever going to see me up there. It's okay. But like, you know, we're 3-2 now, so we're positive. And like, remember the game right before it, I feel like I should have won. I got crit twice, right? So like, in my head, I'm like, I should be 1, 2, 3. I should be 4-2. Like, I feel like I'm playing like a 4-2. And 3-2 is fine. And so, like, I'm just going to the rest of the tournament. We're going to be going up against a guy named, his name was Iron Bofin. I don't know if you guys know who that is. Apparently, he's like a Nuzlocker. His team was pretty cool. It was like Shadow Rider Weezing, right? And he had Rayquaza with like Pow. And so, I was just telling you guys, like, I feel like I'm playing really well. And I was fresh off of that Mewtwo, like, clean sweep game. So, when I go into this game against this guy, right, I have nothing to lose anymore. I just played the game of the tournament, in my opinion, and I won. And so, instead of going, like, full Dozo into this guy, what we do is I go with, like, the Indity Blim into Baton Pass 2 to 3 minimizes to our Terapagos, go for, what is that, Rock Polish, couple Calm Minds, bringing the Mewtwo and Psych up it. So, like, I Shadow Realmed this guy with, like, the full Mewtwo part of the team, right, in game 1. I was like, you know what, like, I'm doing it. Like, I think Dozo's really good into this line, and remember, like, he has the Weezing to turn off the Tatsu, but we have Ability Shield, so, like, we're fine. And so I was just like, I'm just going to do this. Like, I'm a full send the Mewtwo aspect of the team, and we won. And then in game 2, I think I actually just led, like, really aggressive. I think I led, in game 2, what I did was I led Indity Pagos, because they were really leaning on their POW in the matchup. Like, they were leaning on Sash POW, like, a lot. So I just led Indity Pagos, and went, like, follow me, Terrastallize turn 1, just pop, like, Starstorms till Terapagos is gone, and then just close Dozo. No minimize required. And so, like, I feel like this guy didn't even get, like, an honest look at what my team did. Like, it was so funny because I'm sitting there at whatever my record was, and I'm like, I do not have like the mental energy to play like 90 minutes of Dozo minimize stall versus Rayquaza. And so I was just like, I'm going to win with Terapagos Mewtwo. And then in game 2, I was like, I'm just going to win with Terapagos. Oh, but it was one of my favorite games of the tournament. Like, I really, really liked it. I had a great time against this team. I don't know what made me do that either. I was just like, you know what? Like, they can't, I'm out trade. Like, I saw the Shadow Rider, I saw the POW, and the Rayquaza, and I was like, I can just send like Starstorm versus this and like be fine. So it's pretty cool stuff. I had a good time versus this one. And then that was my second to last round. So right now I'm 4-3. Yo, how goes it, man? Thank you for stopping by, hanging out at the event. We had a good time. We're going up into our last round, and I think my opponent said they started out 4-0, and then they got some bad luck, and they're using Miraidon and Groudon. Very, very cool core. Groudon Heat Crash, remember, that does double damage and auto hits through Minimize if you have not passed it yet. That ability goes away after you pass it, the ability to like get absolutely bodied by Heat Crash, but if you Baton Pass Minimize, like if you haven't Baton Pass Minimize, you get dumpstered on. I try to make Dialga, Palkia, TR team work with Crest and Luna, but I struggle to fill the last 2 Mons. Do you have any ideas? Probably like Redirection, maybe like an Ogerpon there. Ogerpon would be really good there. But very, very cool team. I think, you know, they had all the right tools. Avian Sin, you know, Fluttermane with Taunt, you know, Grim. But at this point, I think I was 4-3, and I won game 1 by playing the combo, and they realized we were playing for the timer stall. We got the full lock on this guy's Miraidon. In game 1, we PP stalled out all 8 of the Electro Drifts and all 8 of the Draco Meteors. Got the full lock in game 1, went all the way to time. You know, that's how it works. And then in game 2, it also went to time, but they actually locked it in a lot better and like realized the way to win the matchup was just Intimidate cycling correctly within Sin and just stacking a lot of debuffs and trying to like go Fairy Tale with Miraidon early and then like have Flutter and then like make it so whenever I want to go for an order up, if they can pivot and call that slot right, it makes it just, I don't get my stack for that turn and it just makes the game go a lot longer. So what the reason why they lost game 2 is they tried to timer stall me. You know, what happens with the team is you go Entity Drifblim, and you lose the Entity on the first turn or 2, and then you only have 3 Mons for the remainder of the game. And so they got that matchup where they got 4 Mons, and they tried their best to not let me get 1 KO, and they tried to timer stall me, but they tried way too early in the match, I think. They were taking like the full clock, and they tried to timer stall me, and so what happened was it got flipped back on them, and their timer ended up being too low, and like the timer for the match, and so like they ended up in a spot where they were low on Mons, low on their time, and low on just like resources, and it ended up kind of messing around. You can't timer stall me early back. I don't think that's the way to beat this team, but we ended up getting the win, and that means I ended up at 5-3. 2 of my losses were day 2. And 1 of my losses was 5-3, but like a really good player. And so I don't even feel like I beat every single person that was not tall enough to ride. And you can't ask me to do anything else. You know, I was the freaking Mewtwo gatekeeper at this tournament. And I didn't lose to anyone that played bad. We take those wins. Like, I feel really good about my results. I got championship points with Mewtwo. Like, You can't ask for anything else. We killed it. I placed right outside getting like packs and like money and stuff like that, but you know, it's right there. Mewtwo. Right here, 80 championship points. We take those all the way to the bank. That's the Mewtwo team. The Mewtwo arc's over. We did it.